Let's transition to the NFL, and let's talk about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Everyone knows that the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are still negotiating a new contract for Lamar Jackson. The window is open for the Ravens to place the franchise tag on Lamar Jackson, and it closes March 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And when it comes to this situation and Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, there were reports about how the Ravens are reluctant to give Lamar Jackson a big time guaranteed new contract because of his injury history. And you look at Lamar Jackson over the last 2 years, Lamar Jackson, the first 2 years of Lamar Jackson's career, he missed 2 games. The last 2 seasons, he's missed 10 games. He's missed 10 of the team's last 25 games. The last 25 games that the Ravens have played, Lamar Jackson has not played in. So, from that standpoint, I understand why the Baltimore Ravens are reluctant to give Lamar Jackson a long-term contract and give him all this guaranteed money. I understand it. I get it. I get them being hesitant considering his style as a quarterback, how, he's not your traditional pocket passer. Now, he can throw from the pocket. Make no mistake about it. Lamar Jackson can throw from the pocket. He don't get enough credit for being a pocket passer, but he's not your traditional pocket passer like a Justin Herbert or like a Tom Brady was, or, like even like a Josh Allen. Like, even though Josh Allen can definitely move around, he's not your traditional pocket passer, or even like a Joe Burrow. That's not who Lamar Jackson is. So I understand why the Ravens are reluctant, considering he's missed 10 of the last 25 games. But this reports out in the news about how the Ravens, they offered Lamar Jackson $133 million in guarantees. Now, remember, Deshaun Watson, he got a 5-year, $230 million contract from the Cleveland Browns. 5 years, $230 million in guarantees from the Cleveland Browns. Kyler Murray, he got $189.5 million in guarantees from the Arizona Cardinals. Russell Wilson got $165 million in guarantees from the Denver Broncos. If it's true that the Baltimore Ravens tried to only give Lamar Jackson $133 million in guarantees, I think that is disrespectful and it's ridiculous. If I'm Lamar Jackson, if you offer me $133 million and Kyler Murray got $189 from the Arizona Cardinals and Deshaun Watson got $230 from the Browns, I'm cutting my phone off. We ain't got nothing to talk about. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm not even going to be in Baltimore. My phone's going to be off. And when you call somebody's phone, they phone off, it says the person you're trying to call is being checked for trouble. Or you might not even get a dial tone. If I'm Lamar Jackson and it's true that the Ravens offered him only $133 million in guarantees, I'm going to laugh at the Ravens, and I'm not even answering my phone. We have nothing to discuss because Lamar Jackson has accomplished more than Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson. Now, I love Deshaun Watson. I love Deshaun Watson. I thought before he got into all that legal trouble, I said that Deshaun Watson was one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. But it is undeniable that neither Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, hell, not even Russell Wilson at this point, over the last 3 or 4 years, none of those quarterbacks have accomplished more than Lamar Jackson has accomplished over the last 4 years. None of them. You look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, his quarterback record since he's been in the NFL is 45-16. The man has 101 passing touchdowns, 38 interceptions, 12,209 passing yards, completing 64% of his passes. That's him throwing the football. Now, him running the football is even better. And that's where he has made a name for himself. He has 727 carries, 4,437 rushing yards, 24 rushing touchdowns for his career. And when you look at the weapons that he's had to throw the ball to, who is the number one receiver in Baltimore? Who? Unlike Josh Allen, who has a Stephon Diggs. Unlike Joe Burrow, who has a Jamar Chase. Unlike Patrick Mahomes, who even has a Travis Kelce. Who the hell is Lamar Jackson throwing the ball to? Can somebody call into the show tonight and let me know who has the Baltimore Ravens put around Lamar Jackson to be successful? Hollywood is a number 2. Hollywood ain't on number 1. Who is the number 1 receiver for the Baltimore Ravens who's elite? Because that's what you need in order to be an elite quarterback. You got to have an elite weapon to throw the ball to. We saw what Aaron Rodgers did with Devontae Adams. We see what Patrick Mahomes did this previous year with Travis Kelce. We saw what he did with Tyreek Hill as well. We see what Josh Allen does with Stephon Diggs. We see what Joe Burrow does with Jamar Chase. But unlike those other quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, his best weapon is Mark Andrews. And I love Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews is not Travis Kelce. Mark Andrews is not George Kittle. Mark Andrews, not even as good as Darren Waller. He's not as talented as Darren Waller is. That's the best weapon that the Ravens have put around Lamar Jackson. And they offered this man $133 million in guarantees. That's more money than Russell Wilson. That's more money than Kyler Murray. And that's more money than Deshaun Watson. And none of those quarterbacks have accomplished more than Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson also won an NFL MVP. That is of some significance. When it comes to negotiating a contract and the pros for Lamar getting his money, he got to throw in that he won an MVP. That matters. That matters. Now, some people are going to bring up his playoff record. He hasn't been that impressive in the playoffs. Playoff record is 1-3. Okay. 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 900 passing yards, completed 56% of his passes. He hasn't been great in the postseason. But again, what exactly is Lamar Jackson working with? Now, when I come to comparing him to his other young counterparts who he's played against in the NFL, I believe that when it comes to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson is more accomplished than Josh Allen is. He's more accomplished. When it comes to Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson is more accomplished than Justin Herbert is. I love Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a great pocket passer. He has a great ability to throw the football down the field at a high level, and physically, he has the tools to be an elite quarterback. But Justin Herbert has never won an NFL MVP. Justin Herbert doesn't even have a win in the postseason on his resume. Let's keep going down the line, shall we? Joe Burrow, yes, Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow did get to the AFC Championship game this past season. But Joe Burrow got Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow has T. Higgins. Joe Burrow has Tyler Boyd. Joe Burrow has Joe Mixon in the backfield. So Joe Burrow's supporting cast has always been significantly better than Lamar Jackson's supporting cast. I think the Baltimore Ravens has underappreciated Lamar Jackson and what he's meant to their football team. And if they don't get their act together and give Lamar Jackson the money that he deserves, I think it's a possibility that Lamar Jackson is going to check out and he's going to demand for the Ravens to trade him. And if I'm him, I wouldn't show up. I wouldn't show up, and I would make them have to trade me. So they better get this together at some point. They've got to get this together with him because it's getting out of hand. Now, I don't think if they want to say we don't want to give him $230 million in guarantees the way the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson that, I understand that. Do I believe Lamar Jackson is worth more than Deshaun Watson? Absolutely. But if I'm the Ravens, I don't blame them for not wanting to give him $230 million in guarantees. But I damn sure would give him $200 in guarantees. I am paying Lamar Jackson $200 million in guarantees today. He has done way more than Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. But because of his injury history and him missing 10 of the last 25 games, then that's why I would give him a little less than Deshaun Watson and give him maybe $200 million in guarantees. But $133 million, that's a joke. That is a joke. And by the way, I was listening to Stephen A. on First Take this morning, and he was talking about how someone in Lamar Jackson's camp told him that Lamar Jackson never asked for a guaranteed deal from the Ravens. He's never asked for that. Never. So I'm wondering, is the Ravens putting these reports out there about how Lamar wants all this guaranteed money because they know they don't want to give it to him, so they're going to put it out there like they're going to pay him as the bad guy in this situation. Try to pay him as the bad guy and say he's asked for all this guaranteed money and he's been dealing with all these injuries. So I think that's something also to keep an eye on for. So, yeah, I think Lamar Jackson is definitely, he's worth $200 million in guarantees. And some of these guys who are getting paid more than him, they haven't even accomplished anywhere the amount of success that he's accomplished. No, he hasn't been great in the postseason, but he has an NFL MVP on his resume. And again, what is he working with? Not much in Baltimore, if you ask me. And if you take Lamar Jackson off the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens will not be contenders in the AFC North. They will not be contenders in the AFC. They traded for the linebacker. I think it's Patrick Queen. They traded for him. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's Patrick Queen. They traded for him, and they gave him a new contract. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm thinking, like, what the hell is going on here? And honestly, I think even though he's missed the last 5 games of the last 2 seasons, I think this year, I really believe Lamar Jackson could have played in the playoff game against the Bengals. I really, really believe Lamar was healthy. But I think he said, ain't no way in hell I'm going out there and playing. Because if I get injured, they're going to definitely lowball me. So I think Lamar Jackson was definitely healthy and could have played in that playoff game. But there are teams out there that will trade for him and give him the money that he wants. I'm thinking about the Atlanta Falcons. Could you imagine Lamar Jackson in Atlanta? The way that city embraced Michael Vick. Imagine Lamar Jackson down there in the ATL with the Falcons. He would be the best quarterback in the NFC South instantly. And the Atlanta Falcons could build around Lamar Jackson. Imagine Lamar with the Atlanta Falcons in a city that's basically like they are dying for a franchise quarterback. And I love that the culture down there in Atlanta, like that would be a perfect fit for Lamar Jackson. Cuz said on here somebody will pay him the Jets. I like him going to the Falcons over the Jets, cuz I like him with the Falcons more so than the Jets. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_Wait. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys. No